Okay, Rabbi. So today, Mit Hashem, we have to try to finish Makeh Patish, and if there's time, Mit Hashem will start Moksa. That's the big sugya. Why are you laughing? I didn't even say anything yet. What? Nah, it looks like we'll start. I think we have to start Moksa. If there's time, we're going to start Moksa. Hashem says, Stam, if there's anybody new here, so that it's itachin that I have Shulchan Aruchs that from previous Zman, and that you might not have to go and buy another one. If anybody didn't buy a Shulchan Aruch yet, you should come to me. Not today. You should come to me tomorrow. You should come to me today anyway. But you should not for that. But Akapanim, it's we might have some Shulchan Aruchs left over from previous Zman. That's first of all, and then the Mitzvah Hashem today. I hope that Rabbi is bringing the Marmakaimis on Moksa today. Mitzvah Hashem. You know, I'll try to give the Akadama today for Moksa. Let's try to get there. Bez Hashem. If not, at least the Olam anyways has a lot of Marmakaimis to do to start the big sugya. It's a big sugya. It's like probably the biggest sugya in Hilchos Shabbos. It's a middle that's Bez Hashem. Bez Hashem. So I have here two big topics here today to talk about. One is watches in general, and one is the wind-up toys. And then on the other paper here, I have just a bunch of list of cases that I was asked in general, and I looked into for the Olam and Makeh Patish cases that don't really have a mokim. That's part of the problem of Makeh Patish. That's why if anybody knew, it's having, it's not a Masuritic Alima the way Muksa is. So Bez Hashem, Makeh Patish is really scattered all over the place. It's Kemat, there's no Sif in Shulchan Aruch that says, this is Makeh. You have one in Siman Shin Beis and Sif Beis. You have one in Siman Shin Mem and Sif Tes Ches. You have one like we're having here in Shin Yud Zayin Sif Beis. So it's a very scattered. Malachin has a lot of nafkaminas. As a matter of fact, before the winding watches, let me just tell you a few things. It's good, I guess, to start this year, get the blood flowing a little bit. The svara with the syringe. God, I was thinking this far about a needle, a syringe. I was thinking that there's most of the svaras I'm saying all add together. They're not different svaras. They all add together to bring out the point that maybe making a needle, for example, would not necessarily be considered a creation, a Makeh Patish. Again, that when we spoke about a cocktail cup, that is considered a Makeh Patish. So if I had to, maybe look for another svar to be machalik, I would have said something like this: a needle. The way you use a needle, there's nobody who's making the needle, and he's making it like the day before. Hagufa, nobody is making it the day before. And it's something that when a person wants to make a syringe, he wants to make a needle, he's only going to do it right before he has to go and shoot the person with the injection. Because Hagufa, that's considered the usage of the item. That's how you use it. That's how you use it. Like the way we explained, you're just getting in the liquid, you're getting in the syringe. That's considered the usage. Mashen gain a cup. Hagam that for the convenience purpose, you might not do that, right? But for shtetzels, if you're setting up a simcha or whatever, Avadi will set them up beforehand. Here, you bedafka very makbid not to set it up beforehand, and not to make the needle beforehand. Again, add this svara to the svaras that we spoke about already in the past, and you'll see it's all bringing out the idea that it's possible that a syringe might be considered a usage, whereas a cocktail cup is going to be considered making a creation. It's just a hashlama of the same svaras. Sorry? Come again? I don't think it's just because of the sterile aspect. It's sorry? But there's a reason that you wouldn't anyways if you had it in your house do it. I'm saying I think it's a certain surah of it. It's not the svara, which is the machras. It's just it gives you a little bit of a feel for the idea. By Shaita, when we spoke about syringe, I was a little bit nervous about that. But at least you understand the difference between that and a cocktail cup. That's one thing I wanted to tell the Olam. Another thing the Olam was discussing yesterday. Now, a lot of the svaras Rabbi say, I'm not being myrichan, because also the new guys have to know this, that you have to make up. I see a few new guys you have to make up the last 577 shiurim. That since the beginning of Hilchos Shabbos, I'm not going to be mechayev you to make up the ones that were before Hilchos Shabbos, because that's already, it's already a little bit extreme. But the 577 shurim from Hilchos Shabbos, you do have to make up. And being that you have to make up those shiurim, so then I can't be myrich on all the svaras that we spoke about back then. But I could go into the psukim that that we spoke about back then. So, for example, the Olam after the shiur yesterday was discussing a hat that was sat on. Any of the new guys, when you hear me like this, you shouldn't get nervous. This is how I always sound. Abby, you'll explain it. This is how I always sound. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it means something, but it doesn't mean that you have to worry. So the Maisa, they were asking about a hat that somebody sat on. Probably the signals that we're talking about. If you have a hat that's sat on, usually you have that one guy who has a hat that he doesn't mind if we play with, but I don't really want to touch his hat now. But if you have a hat that's really beat up and you can't even put it on your head, it looks so dreadful. It looks so disastrous. So you allowed to pop her back into shape. So what would you say? You're allowed to pop it into shape. You're not allowed. So we discussed it back then. Just to add, something. There's a Torah Vayra. The Torah Vayra brings down lots of different Zachen that they heard from Rav Moshe Feinstein Zechat Tzadik Levracha. So there they bring down that they heard from Rav Moshe. They asked him, "You have a hat that got sat on?" And they asked it. That's how they write the question. The hat got sat on, and are you allowed to go and pop it back into shape? Right now, it's not a hat. Right now, what is it? It's a piece of dreadful looking felt. It's not a hat. What? Elamite, the question is do you say that it was so niskalkel? That'll be the shaila. Do you say it's so niskalkel, or do you say just popping it back into shape and therefore you're not creating? It's al derech, maybe like, these stars that we're talking about with the basketball and all these things, it had its surah. I'll add a little bit more. It's like a normal thing for this to happen. But, the way it's written over there in the Torah is that Rav Moshe said it was mutter. They just bring down that Rav Moshe was mekel. He doesn't give so much this far. He says it's the matzah haragel. What? Oh, so I just don't know what it means. I mean, if, what does it mean? It got, did the person just have a whole bowl of cholet? And also, is he a bowl of cholet? Sometimes he's pregnant and everything, and he sat on the chair, and I don't know. And it's mamish, and you have to sit there and work on it. And I don't know. You have to know exactly what they asked Rav Moshe, and you have to know exactly what. It's not a tshuva from Rav Moshe. It was like a question they asked Rav Moshe, and they bring down the psak in Rav Moshe. I guess I don't want to do it to my hat, but does anybody care if we do it to his hat? Anybody? It's vegetable. It's inflatable. Okay, I guess they all have nice hats, or some of you don't have hats. But the point is that if I'm not gonna. It's new. It's like fresh out of the box, so I'm not gonna kill it. But obviously, like that and things like that. It's nothing to discuss. That was never a shaila, right? And then even if it goes in a little bit more and whatever, right? Right. We used to have a Chabadzik in the Kallus, and he was. I remember this years ago. And he mamish. He just took his hat and threw it at us. Right? Now, I'm not going to really hurt your hat, don't worry. But just watch, right? I'm going to do it in a way where, don't worry, right? All right, yeah. Like this, like this, like this. This is like a normal looking after it was sat here. Okay. And I'm not after the challenge, you understand? There's that. You guys can see it? I just sat on it. You saw me sitting on it or no? You guys saw also, right? No, Dovi, I sat on it, not you. I sat on it. The new guys don't know Dovi, but anyways. So there's that. Now watch. This is what it looks like after it got sat on, right? Because usually it's not the pshat that the person sits on it and stays there. And then it's like he sits and he goes, oi, right? That oi, right? Yeah, so then usually, you understand what I'm saying? It's not the pshat like he sits on it and he lays eggs on it and the whole matziv, right? The pshat usually, you understand what I'm saying, right? That's why I think this is a good example of what happens, right? So now, let's pop her back into place. This is probably what Rav Moshe was talking about, right? And Rav Moshe says you pop it back into place, right? And it just really popped right back into place, just do you feel that your hat has been any different than it was before or no? Look at it and tell us. Let me just put alcohol because you touched your hat. So I don't want to, I'm saying, who knows, I sat on it, so I would, I don't know. But, okay. Akapanim, you get my point, yeah? Do you feel that your hat was violated and was, well, yeah, no, it's true you couldn't use it, but what Moshe is saying is, you see, it pops back into place. I didn't have to do anything. It just pops right back into place. And that's, I guess, what's the lamdis? It's not supposed to be made to be fapap tazeh and whatever. It's not supposed to be. So they're mechalik. Some mechalik want to be mechalik between a soft hat and a hard hat. Because a soft hat is much easier. It goes back into place. But a hard hat, that's hard. And what? It would be much harder to work with. You'd have to mamish, you have to, what? You'd have problems. You'd have to take, it's chesavos and everything. You have to work on it. So I don't know. It's something we spoke about back then. I would say, Ramosha's kedai Ramosha to be seimechan, and the person doesn't have a hat, and that's his hat. So there's a market to be mekel, and can be seimech. Again, as far as aren't bar, that's what I'm saying. You don't have here a first. Mr. Brewer talks about this. It's obviously the lumdus is when you look at this hat, do you say this hat is broken, or do you say this hat has been folded up and all you have to do is unfold it? Kivyachol. That's the way they're looking at it. So they're looking at it that the hat wasn't broken. It was just, it's like saying you have a shirt, that the shirt itself is all crumpled up and you have to open up the shirt in order to get your sleeve in. And that's how they're looking at it. That's how they're looking at it. The pshat is you didn't do anything. What? It's Kain, a reassembly svar. It's Kain, that's far that the only thing is that the difference between reassembly is that reassembly, so you can call it reassembly. It's al derech reassembly. Yeah, but the only thing is we said by basketball, and we're not going to call it reassembly because you're giving it a shape that it didn't have. So what's the difference between that and that? So first of all, by basketball, we had this far of tircha. We had the zichron no tircha. No one's going to say any tircha here. Another thing is over here is that, it had a shape, it's true, right? But now the shape is tonus batel, and you can't look at it as reassembly. You're giving it a new shape. Well, I think, just give me one moment. I think hagufa, because all you have to do is go pop, and it comes right back into its place. You don't need to do anything to get the air into the ball and to give it its shape. That's how Rabbi Shekhinir is looking at it. And, we spoke about it about Arichas a different time. What? So then look at that. We know that's clear, that if you have a needle or something, and you're bending the needle into shape, or you're bending a safety pin. That's the case the place can talk about. You have a safety pin, you're putting it back into shape. So that's clear that that's us. It's a very easy thing. First of all, it's not so easy. I'm saying but you say, let's say it would be easy. Like sometimes they have those like yeshiva forks and Zachen that they're like very easy to put back into shape, but are they so easy? The metal, it's so easy. What? Okay. No. I think it. No. What? The cheap ones are very easy, just to go like back to. Yeah. Okay, something to think about. Yeah. What? So they're saying the same thing. The hat you can't wear the hat. Right now, it's a broken hat. Right? To wear a hat like that, it's not even a chabatzka. It's like a very weird thing. Sorry? No. You saw what I did, or you didn't see? It was mamish. I'll do it to you, or you want me to do it to your hat? I'm saying it was really squashed. No, it was really squashed. It wasn't shaykh to wear. It was all the way pressed in. I don't know. Not here. Listen, I don't know if Ramosha wouldn't have said it, I don't know if I would have been makel. So, but this is a davar that's not so clear, and it's sarchir. It's a ksas sarchir. That's number one. Number two is the cases that I'm talking about, like bending a hanger. Rabbi Spira, a hanger is a very easy thing to bend into shape. That for sure we're going to be machmer on. That's an example that the place can bring. To take a hanger and to bend her into shape, that for sure is going to be a problem. Some amal you have the hanger sometimes, and and you want to just like bend her into shape. It's a problem. So you're saying what's it different? I don't know. I hear the question. Okay. Another ha'ara. Klapet, as far as that we spoke about, shaking down the thermometer, shaking down the thermometer is, a thermometer that's not electric, obviously. I'm saying the old type. Does anybody use these except for me, or nobody? Okay. So Shabbos, no, you have to use it for Shabbos. So to shake it down, right now the thermometer is totally unusable, right? Because it's showing, the person has 102, who's the last person that used it, or whatever. That's the gaya. Everyone's taking the temperature these days, right? But so you'll not to shake it down, because that's the folding chair spar that we keep on talking about. It's not a broken thermometer right now. You shake it down and then it goes back. That's how you use a thermometer. It's not a, that's another shaila that was asking me. Another shaila, which is a good example, is the watch. Let's say you have a watch and this part falls off. Let's say it falls on the floor and the back piece falls off. All right, the back piece falls off. That's an interesting shaila. If this back piece falls off, it's a kli. It's a kli. It was once on. It was once on, right? And now you're putting it back on. So that should be just like an assembly of parts. And therefore, it shouldn't be a makim patish. But this in Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to have to learn. There's a very big sugya of boina, which we didn't talk about yet, that sometimes you could reassemble something and connection of the two is such a strong connection, so that itself might be that we do say binyan b'kelim and sometimes derbanan. So you have to just realize that we didn't learn yet boina. You have to be careful because somebody afterward yesterday asked me that if his watch the piece fell off on Shabbos, he sounded like it happened last Shabbos. I won't say who he is, but he sounded like he understood from the shir that you're allowed to put it back on. Maisa from the shir, he's right because it was once on, so it's not makif b'pantish. And it's also not a tziricha to get it back in. You just press a little bit hard and it goes back in. But there's another issue that it's very tight. And tekiah and hittik, and that's all svaras that we're going to learn after Muktzah, that could be a major problem. But as he was talking to me, he was telling me that the watch has a different watch that he has like different bands. You know what I'm talking about? You have like a choice of bands. Bands slide on and off. That would be a good example of our sugya probably. Because there, the pshat is they just like slide in there. The first time to put her on, she's a problem, right? That'd be a good example of Makar Pantish. The first time ever that you put you have the black band, and you have the white band, and you have the green band, and the blue band. Right? That'd be a good example. The first time ever that she goes on, and you're going to say it's not meant to last there, but that already is not like a belt. You can hear that's a tzura of a kli, and it's a tzura of a watch, and it could stay on for a long time. That would certainly get me nervous. What? There's a special Shabbos one. I, for the first time, wouldn't do it on Shabbos, that for sure now. Now, to straighten out a plastic cup, I don't want to break my plastic cup because I need it for the shir. But that would be the same svar. If it's like this, and like that, and you just have to pop it back into shape. Okay. Right? You just have to pop it back into shape. So like here, let's go. There. Let's see. Somebody pregnant, somebody. So now, right? So that's, up, right? It's the same thing where Moshe was telling us. I think things that pop, I guess that's where Moshe stayed, right? Things that just like pop, right? That's it. The thing I was misupik about was sometimes you have an aluminum pan, a disposable pan. You take a disposable pan and it's, you smash, the side is smashed down, everything, and you planned on throwing it out. And then someone says, hey, wait, we can put inside there the potato kugel. Or you can put inside there the, leftover liver or something like that. So now you want to, put it back together again. You want to pick it up again. That's interesting, Shaila. What? Aluminum foil might be different because, nobody's really fashioning a kli when you're using aluminum foil. Here, your mom is like fashioning a kli. There, you're just covering it. Challah. But that doesn't bother me. It's not a kli. It's you're fakir. You're making a non-kli. You're just covering it with a klipa, with a shell. Wait, slow. Before everybody's examples. But this example got me nervous. That example got me nervous. That's not just pop. That's not pop. You lift up the wall. You lift up the other wall. You have to build the third wall, the fourth wall. It's like, all parts. What? We kind of spoke about that maybe that's considered that you're the one that made the kli. Yeah. Rabbi Sher is referring to a svara. You were here when the Tfilas get? Rabbi Sher is referring to a very nice svara. It's a geshmak svara that I didn't say it. Somebody else. No, I said it. Okay. I thought somebody else said it. It was me. Okay. Well, it's a nice svara. Kitzer, that the pshat is that there's a whole shaila that got by aluminum pans in the first place. There's a whole shaila in the first place about aluminum pans and they need tfilas kelim. Right? I'm not talking about like a bochadira that they have the chad pabi pan and they were yoirish it down 16 diras all the way back to this was the pan that they brought over from Mir in Europe and where they brought to Shanghai. I mean, like a normal person, they use the pan maybe once, twice, whatever. So there's all shaila about tfilas kelim or Moshe Grad Mekel if you don't use it more than once, twice. Others are machmir. So the shtickle eitzah is that if you break down the walls, and then you do the walls, you renovate the walls afterward. So then it's not called that the goy made the kli, it's called that you made the kli. Because until now it was nishkaven ken kli. And who made it into a kli? You made it into a kli. So you're a kaik, right? So you're the one that made it into the kli. Understand? So then that's considered that the Jew made it into the kli. The Jew made it into the kli, so then it doesn't need tfilas kelim. So Rabbi Sher is saying, who I did over here. Do you see it's considered a creation? Because now, Mela, if it got a little bit out of shape, a here and a here, But my case was a good example. The pshat is he planned on throwing it out, so he smashed down the kli. Why is he allowed to smash down the kli? Stop breaking things. He's allowed to break things. So ain't stira b'kelim, he says. He says, leave me alone. Ain't stira b'kelim. So he smashes it down to put it into the garbage. And then as it's going into the garbage, he said, hey, what are you doing? Don't you know that we have a potato kugel that we can put in there? Right? So now you want to open it up. So it wasn't meant to happen. So now you were the one that did it. I don't know if that's called popping it up. I'd be nervous. Yeah, I'd be nervous. I'd be a little bit nervous about that. But you wanted it to be like totally ice. Yeah? I don't know what he said, but I'm not sure if it's a muchach what he said. But what does he say? In fact, it depends how ruined it was. So it's in my case where you mamish all four sides are smashed down. I had this about a couple of months ago, last Zman, that we had inside the crack pot. I had just silver foil around, and I had on the bottom an aluminum pan. So that it should be a little bit sticking out, like we spoke about the B'shaita. So we took out the crack pot. So this is a very good example of this case. Right? We took out the crack pot, and then so afterward, so my wife said, let's take this. It was a little bit leftover cholent, right? Why was it leftover cholent? Because that Shabbos punk, the boys weren't there for the meal. So there was a little bit leftover cholent, and so she said, let's put it inside this silver foil pan. Right? Now that was a pan which was mangled and murdered by the crock pot, by the pot actually, by the pot. So that's really, and then to go and put it back together again is a real problem. According to a falk, that would be an isagomer, right? That would be called you made a kli on Shabbat. That was a good example. That's that'd be a good example of where you have this case. Okay. A little bit out of shape. We're all a little bit out of shape. But as I get this, that's number 5 or 6, or I don't know what. Don't forget, Rabbi said, we did not learn yet Baina. Somebody was asking me yesterday about a broom and a broom handle. There's lots of things here. It's true, the broom was once a part of the broom handle and it came apart, but there's lots of other svarlach that we don't know about. Like I said, if you put it in and it gets screwed in or it's wedged in or it's something that theoretically you might be Baina, the examples we gave are the good examples, like the baby's, the child's sunglasses and stuff like that, right? Because that's something pops right in, pops right out. It's very loose, etc. Well, even when it's in, it's out. All our examples, shoelaces that we spoke about, and the moichin that we spoke about, all these things. But just don't get excited and start building brooms on Shabbos and things like that, because even though it was once there, but somebody had a good case yesterday. Who was it? A clasp on a chain. A clasp on a chain. Let's say you have what's the normal thing, like a chai chain or something, right? So you have a chain, right? And you want to put on the chai. What? No, because that comes on and off. The talus. Actually, the Torah given, the Torah you can have taka. Stuff that was already done, so it's always done already, No, but Akapanim. No, Nossi is talking about, Nossi has a clip that you take one side of the talus and you attach it to the other side of the talus, right? That's what he has. That's not going to be a problem because that comes on and off and everything doesn't. But let's say you have like a chain, right? Nossi, you have one of those or no? Like a chai chain or a Jewish star maybe or something like that, yeah? So you put that clasp, let's say you put on that hanging pendant or something, but it's going to remain. It's going to remain. How do you look at that? Do you look at it? It's like a chain and two separate things, or it's for the first time when you put it on for the first time. Is that makim b'patish? Not sure. A clasp is. What's the difference between that and a clasp? Sometimes you have a clasp, right? Do you understand? There's something called a clasp and there's something called a pendant, or no? I think a clasp is something that really connects itself to the chain. Am I correct? Or I think that's what? It connects on one side, and each side it connects to the chain. No, I'm wrong. No, well, it's like a pendant is the same thing. No, because I don't know. This is something I'd be nervous about. I'd be nervous on the first time. What the tzura of this item is. If it's giving off its tzura that there's a oneness now. A chain without the chai is just lacking. All you see is the guy's hair and everything, right? It's lacking. You don't see, you need to see like the chai, the tzomeach, the doimen. You need to, so if you don't see the chai, it's lacking in the ganze chain. You understand? So these are all cases And now, Mitzvah Shem, we'll go into the last part of the sugya. I go a price tag on a suit. You want to take off the price tag on a suit? It's just, let's say it's sticking down with one of those plastic pieces, right? So mitzvah toifer, we have no issue because it's a one piece. Everyone knows what I'm talking about? They have those what are those things called? Those plastic zachers, what? Tags. Yeah. So then mitzvah toifer, just a moment. Mitzvah koirei, mitzvah koreya, there's no issue because it's one string. So you cut it, mitzvah koreya is no issue. Elamai, it's makim patish, it's completing it. So that's a toyas because the Mishabura and Shin Beis, we spoke about this in Shin Beis. In Shin Beis, we spoke about that's considered external because it was put on after the garment was finished. So that's not considered a chefza now. They didn't ruin the chefza by, it's not it's a whole different, the chefza was already completed and you put on something that's external to the beggar. But sometimes you can have like this. Who remembers we spoke about this? Sometimes you can have just a moment. Sometimes you can have that you needed to tailor the pants, right? Because they don't fit you, So sometimes people tailor them and they make them not fit, but that's how it goes. The normal people, they tailor them that they should look normal now. So what happens? He takes there his chalk. Did they have that is it, well, it's all over. Yeah, okay. So he takes the chalk and he chalks on it and this. So in America, when you get it back, he probably dry cleans it first and he brings it to the Chinaman and does. But in Eretz Yisrael, you get it back and you have mamish. You get the ganz olive base, the whole everything over there, right? He's got all this. He's got tic-tac-toe. He's playing with it, right? But really, you have the markings. Everybody ever, if you ever got a suit in there, it has on the bottom the markings, exactly the chalk of where it was. That might be an Issa Daraisa of Makav Patish. It's interesting. Why? Because there, it was in the process of when the suit was being made. It's interesting. The process of the suit was being made because since it needed to be tailored and noch nicht tailor gewend, it was noch nicht, you didn't get to tailor it. And now it was in the process of the new Makav Patish process where your pants, they were changing the cuff, which means that they're actually cutting and they're actually sewing and they're doing something to it. It's not like it's a finished product. Now you're in a new step of the finished product. You're making a new step in the finished product. So now you have the markings. The place can discuss. Sorry? You want to erase it. When you're erasing it off, well, this has nothing to do with Kaisiv and Maichek. We're not talking about Kaisiv, we're talking about Mitzad Makeh Bepatish. You're taking it and making her into a finished product. So this is something that was Negeya Mamish. This is something Negeya Mamish. One of my boys got a suit. And he got it, and on Shabbos he noticed the markings on the bottom. And Taka, I heard the Shaila, essentially, he was asking me, "It's Moichik." He said, "No, Moichik. It's just there's no Moichik on just a schmutz. It's not a letter. If it would be a letter, there could be a Moichik, but it's not a letter. It's like a line, showing something. So that just so it won't necessarily be a Moichik. But I Taka, I decided to look it up because what do I know? The Shmir Shabbos in Tezvav Samachei, he answers, and I think this was the reason he answered. He held that it's a problem of a Makeh B'Pantish. He held that Lamashal, let's say it was coming off of the weave in Mabish, and there was a chalk mark there where they were supposed to cut it off of the weave. So then that's clear. The place can discuss such cases. That means that it wasn't yet a finished product, and then they left it unfinished, and you have to go and wash it off and whatever. It's not yet it's still in the original making process. This is not, Rabbi say, like the case of the tag, which is an external something which is added not in the finishing touches of the process. That's, you have a jacket, they put on a tag, right? But here, it's in the making process of where they're making it wearable and usable, and they left on the thing. Now, I could hear that somebody could maybe argue on it, but like I said, in Makeh B'Patish, Habich Moira, I have Moira because these things aren't clear. They're not bar. What do you say? Come again? Lieben. So he's asking, what's the difference anyways? You're not going to be allowed to dust it off. It's Lieben, right? Sorry? No, he's asking, anyways, typically it's Lieben. To dust off a suit on Shabbos is a problem of Lieben. Rashi brings down, Mishabur brings down some Shin Basic Cut from Zion. Mishabur brings down that's an Issa Deraisa for the Ashkenazim for sure. So first of all, Sfardim, maybe. Second of all, Aydei Goy. Right? Could you do Aydei Goy? But he's right. Out sleeping is there would be a problem not sleeping. Right? Third of all, which was the case over here, Third of all is the case over here, which I'm a supik. That's why I was waiting to get to this point. But now before I get to this point, is anybody want to ask him what he said? The pocket is a good example. We spoke about that. That would be an example of a Makav and Patish for sure. What? Oh, the mic fell. Oh, sorry. Okay. That's good. See, that would be external. That's not, But no, sorry. Maisa, in his case, it was a bit complicated because how come he didn't see it on Erev Shabbos? Why didn't he see it on Erev Shabbos? Because it was in an area, mamish the bottom of the pants, mamish the bottom of the that part, the bottom of the pants, mamish the bottom, where you sort of could see it, sort of couldn't see it. But like the kids, they're so makbid, it should be like, and what are the parents going to say? Halacha, you should be so makbid on, your mitzvahs. But they're very careful that it shouldn't even be a little bit of mamish, a little bit of chalk all the way on the bottom, right? Makbid, So now you get involved in the shaila that it's something that I asked him, are you makbid on this? I'm not makbid or whatever, but makbid, but but he sees it, so it's there, so you take it off. Right? So I'm not sure how to don that. In other words, if it would be mamish on, that's why I use this example, because it's right at the bottom. That's where they made the cuff. So it's, so now you get involved, is that called the problem of Liban on Shabbos? Liban is only on something that the person's makbid. If the person's not makbid, if people aren't makbid on it, it's not Liban. So you can ask, if he's not makbid, why is he taking it off? Okay, because it's there. So just, but that doesn't mean he'll go out with that. He's not makbid. He'll go out with it. He won't care to go out like that. He doesn't care to walk outside like that. It's there, so you take it off, like everything. So that was just a moment. So therefore, mitzad Liban, I'm not 100% convinced. I'm not 100% convinced mitzad Liban. Right? But mitzad makbid b'pantish, it's mamish shalom, mamish deraisa. Sorry? Even if it's no, because of the placement of it. Even if it's new, because of the placement of it, right? Let's say it would be, in this case, it's a little bit complicated. It was mamish on the edge, so I couldn't see it. You can't see it when he's walking, right? But the nice, he knows it's there and whatever. So then you get involved. Maybe it's also not makim patish. Rabbi? No, maybe it's also not makim patish because maybe if mamish nobody cares. Maybe agufa. Maybe the umin, when the umin was taking it off, right? Maybe when the umin was taking off, he did take off the other part, and the part that's all the way in the bottom, he didn't care about because nobody cares. So maybe the umin considers this to be a finished product, and maybe it's not considered like. So yichab, these are all good svaras, they're all difficult svaras. Alachol ma'isa, don't do it because who could take a chayis? These are child to rice. Rabbi said these are moridik svaras. Some of them are the svara makes it from being mutter gomer to be issa deraisa. It's like very chomer. It's very chomer dikarei. Right? Am I being clear? I don't want you to think that today I'm just like hacking. You'll know what I'm hacking. But I'm saying it's that's what's going on here. It's a lot of svaras and bazuksta. Sorry. Right. Yeah, but it's a big sugya. Kapeda is kafi. If he's not going to walk out, he doesn't care. He goes out with it. It's lacking the out base of kapeda. If he would walk out like that, he doesn't care b'chlal. That day he doesn't care b'chlal. But then, sorry. But that's external. That you mean like you're saying by like the dry cleaners. Oh, really? But it's external. That's clearly external. The only shaila you can have over there is korea. And then they get involved in the whole shaila, korea, because it's 2 stitches, because it's a metal stitches, and that we say it's taka l'chatchila you shouldn't do. But if he has a problem with itzah, it's a complicated thing. We spoke about it then. But you'll make it up soon. That's in Shir 478. Okay, so Rabbi Stender, you're going to get there. Don't worry, right? Okay, so close. Adkan, I think, are the cases that we're going to talk about. And, if any of you guys, on your shetels, for example, we spoke about that using hairspray. Everyone knows what I'm talking about? Hairspray. The way it works is you think the shetel just stays like that. Well, it's like your hair, So you have to take hairspray and you spray it on there. And then what happens? It keeps its stance, it keeps its mark. It doesn't move, right? So that the place can say that might be a makim patish darbana, not deraisa. If you want to use hairspray on your own hair, it's also a shaila, because that might be a problem of we spoke about all this, right? Well, first of all, was reach. Second of all, it might be a problem of. There's also another problem when you're making your hair have a certain strength to it. We spoke about this, the b'shaita with the payas and dust. What? Okay, but let's say it's a lady or something. I don't know. Right? Okay, Akapanim. This we spoke about. Oh, and what about making a book cover on Shabbos? To make a book cover, take a paper and make it, fold it into a book cover on Shabbos. It's usually not a gear because you have to tape it and things like that. But Lefidas, it's for sure a problem, right? You're making something, you're making a kli. You're making a folder. What? That I don't know about. That we spoke about with that. That I'm not sure if that would be a makkah patish. I know that they have another case we spoke about way back when. I don't know if they do these things. Sometimes they have a run in the tights, right? We used to have a chsish Gaman here, then we could actually ask him if he does it. But you used to have a run in the tights, right? And so what do? You take nail polish or something, right? And then it stops the run. That's how it goes. That's a case of Maggid Patish. That's an case of Maggid Patish, that you're fixing something that... people probably know not to do this anyways, the nail polish is muksa, whatever thing. But these are the examples that we had. I think it spoke about every case. Aluminum this, we spoke about this, we spoke about. Well, it also fixes it, Batson, because it does. It covers up the run, right? Also covers up the run. You're just going to stop it. So then, let's see, if you're only going to stop the run from going further, is that Makkah Patish? What? Put water around the fire. That's what he said back then. I kind of don't think that's what they're doing. Huh? That's what they're doing? Yeah. Okay, let me look into it. I'm not convinced. Not convinced. Shmir Shabbos in Tez Vav Ayin Gimel brings that case. And Shmir Shabbos in Tez Vav Samachay brings the case of the chalk. He brings the case of the chalk, and all right, and that, I guess that's about it. There's one last case before we go to watches. I'm saying that's the big sugya. But the Shmir Shabbos in Yud Aleph, Kuf Samach Gimel, and in Tet Zayin Samach Aleph, he discusses making napkins into shapes. Now listen, if you're making them into, all types of like pelicans and, other farm animals and creatures and things like that. So then you have a problem anyways of kaisiv sculpting, and even sculpting for one time, they make all types of little dinosaurs and things like that, all types of zachen, right? So then that's a problem, mitzad, for sure kaisiv anyways. So I'll stay away from that, right? And the other extreme, if you just take like take a napkin and you go like that to it, like that, and just put it inside the cup like that, and they call it a flower, right? They call it a flower. A flower. Who called it a flower? You called it a flower. Is it a flower? It's not a flower. It's just a weird way of getting it into the thing. What does machtas for a flower? When you just take it and go like this, and you do it in a way where it's not messy. So that's not a flower. They call it a flower. Sorry? It's not a flower. It doesn't. It's something that when you think of this, it gives off an impression that it like looks like a flower. But it's not bad, Sim. What? It's again. It's all in over here. Rabbi said. We're trying to figure out here: is the person doing in this case at least? We spoke about this when they're kaisiv, right? Is this considered he did a kaisiv? Anything that he's just trying to make it neatly get into its cup, neatly get into its place, etc. That doesn't have that chshivas of a kaisiv. That doesn't have the chshivas of a kaisiv. He's not fashioning it. There comes a point, because you know what? So when he takes the napkin and he folds it into a triangle just that. So let's say he made over here a Haman's hat or something, right? The pshat is that we don't look at it like that. He's just, anytime it's a simple fold, it doesn't have a chashivas. Something we spoke about. I don't want to be married now. But then where it gets problematic, is when he's making, all types of zaken. They make the one where there's like a pocket, You can put there like fork, you can put in there a knife, you can put in there like one of the kids, the whole then sometimes he has one where he makes it into, not where it's, he'll make, or let's say napkins and Sachen, right? Let's say a napkin. So we said to take a napkin, a paper, and to make it into a paper airplane, that's a deraisa. That's a makapatish deraisa, right? You take a cloth linen napkin and you make it into a usable thing. We'll use that example. Can I make it into something? I fold it in a way where I can hold the fork and the knife, right? But yeah, so this is like the mice. I don't understand the need so much because it doesn't really hold the fork and knife. It doesn't really hold it, right? It's not like it's not strong enough to hold it, right? Now, what if you would do it with paper napkin? With a cloth napkin, it's just not going to happen, right? You do it a paper napkin, and you fold it in a way where it actually holds the fork and the knife. Just lay down, not the, what? No, it somewhat does hold it. You made around a carrying case, but you definitely could have a situation. You made it or something. It's somewhat of a carrying case. Why not? Sorry. Maybe it's just a design. I'm not sure if it's a design. I'm asking if it's not a koisiv, because not a chashav tzura, but I don't know. He's not so thrilled with this, the Shmir Shabbos over there. A pocket square. What exactly are you doing? What? No, but what's he doing? I'm saying it's just like, he's not doing anything. It's just like putting it away and like, what? No. It was in there once already. He's just fixing it up. I don't see any tsura here. I don't see there's any tsura in that. Come again? I find it hard to believe anyways that in a cloth napkin, there could be any semblance of a makeh bepatish bichlal. In a cloth napkin, it's not, the fact that we spoke about, Rabbi say, we spoke about one-time usages is makeh bepatish. That's why something like a toothpick, that I made a toothpick now, because now I could use the kli. Here, a napkin, the pshat is, no one looks at a cloth napkin as a building block of any kli. So now, the only question you could don on is, it's still a cloth napkin, and it's never changing its yud of being a cloth napkin, because that's what it is. So the only thing I could don on is, did you make a koisiv, which that we saw. If you make a koisiv, a picture that shows me a tzura, something that tells me something, a picture says 1,000 words, that's the only thing you could don on. But on a cloth napkin, I don't hear bichlal. On a regular napkin, so then, I don't know. Like that, I don't know. To say that, I have a hard time with this. To say on a cloth napkin, again, if you made the cloth napkin into a pelican, into a gorilla, into a the thing that make the shoes from alligator, whatever, right? So then I hear, right? But it makes the cloth napkin into something that's just like folded in a way where you put nicely in the fork and the knife in there. So then what? Now, what's the nikud there? I look at this. What's this napkin now? This napkin now is a wallet. Is there anybody in the world that says that? It's the napkin is in the shape of a wallet. You understand the difference? When we discussed something of a one-time usage, this is actually very important as far as, so listen well. I mean, everything we said today is pretty important, but this is even more. You have a toothpick. You broke it, you made the toothpick, you broke it in half, now you made a usable toothpick. That is a toothpick. That's a cheftza. You made something here. When you take a napkin and you shape it in a way where it's not a sculpture of a picture, it's not something giving a message, so what is it? But you shaped it in a way where it will hold the fork and the knife, etc. Right? So did it lose its shame of napkin? Did it lose the shame of napkin of Adonai? Did it become now a pocket of Adonai? So then who says Bichlal there's a patish on such a thing? Who says Bichlal, just a moment. Who says that Bichlal is a tikkun man on such a thing? Maybe tikkun man is I took this item and I fabested it, I made it into this, I did that. Here, it's a napkin, it remains a napkin, and now you did a shtick of the napkin. It's a shtick of the napkin. It's not something that we're going to look at this napkin that, this napkin is now a holder that could be doubled as a napkin. It's not the tsura, it's part of the shtick. On a cloth napkin, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt, as far as I just said. The question is if we could, steal the svara and go into the world of paper napkins and be able to say the same thing. Which would, if you that, it would come out that if there are people that are, again, if they're making like, But like I said, all types of fish and things like livestock. So then that not right. But if they're making like or if they're making just nothingness, just a way to have the napkin, it's not even a fine. But this middle case of where they're making this is the one case that I don't see clear in the Paiskin. When they make like a pocket to hold the fork and the knife, I would have a tzad to say that such a thing would be permitted. I would have such a tzad. Listen, the Kedushas Shabbos, I'm going to tell if my family asks me not to do it, right? But let's say you come to the house and there's the shviger and she's in the kitchen and she's doing it, like she's making all these things, right? You come in there with a spear and stuff, it's not. What do you say about the further? What's that? What do you mean?
Let's say you make a pocket.
Yeah.
Then more of a star to say that it's considered a pocket.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying on a cloth one that's beyond the shadow of a doubt. On a paper one, I'm saying maybe you could steal the sfar even onto a paper one by something like a pocket, which again, it's not a sculpture. So it's not a picture. It's not a picture of a pocket. You're actually using it. So it's not a shal of kaisef. And it's not simple mitzat sheni that it's so simple. You're just it's just putting it. It's in a way. The truth is, does anybody here know how to make it? Maybe it'll be easier if somebody knows how. You want to make one for us or no? You need a napkin. What? Like maybe like a holder or something. Whatever. We could have used you for the tights with the what's it called? What? No, on Shabbos. No, the nail polish. That's what. Nobody has a napkin that we can give him or something. What? Will it work with a tissue or no? No. You want to take off your shirt maybe, or that's too aggressive? What? But that doesn't bother me because it's not kli there. You didn't make a kli. You take a piece of silver foil and you cover a kli. Obviously, if you rip the silver foil, it's a mitzvah to kill you. But if you just take the silver foil and put it on, they didn't make a kli. That's not kli. That's not a kli. Huh? A what? Yeah. Oh, you made it. Yeah, like come on. Everybody said, come on. Like this. And that's how they do it. Oh, come on. This is called he made a sleeve for the fork. It's very fancy. Very fancy. Very fancy. What? Das ist nicht Kind. Das ist Mutter. Das ist Mutter. Das ist Mutter. Das ist Mutter. That's Mutter. I don't even have to take the alcohol for that. No, it's not a kli. You didn't make a kli. All you did was you covered it with a piece of silver foil. You didn't take the silver foil and turn it into a kli. It's not a kli. Okay. Is Rabbi saying what? Right, but there we're dining mitzad koisev. We're dining mitzad is considered a koisev. There I don't hear it's a koisev because a koisev has to have some chivas to it. The fact that we call her a flower, if he starts doing something to the napkin in a way where it's mamish, taka looks like a flower.
I was going to go later and take all the napkins that when they come and put them in a vase. I know it's going to make you a napkin, it's a pocket, and you want to start carrying it around with it. It's not a pocket.
Yeah. Not sure if that is the problem, but he's also not going to take the alligator and make it into shoes.
No, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You might still keep it as something that's unique. But this is garden. It's nothing.
Okay, maybe. Aloha l'mais is like we said. Now we'll start the shir. Let's start the shir because we got to get to muksa today, and then we have to do we didn't do anything today. All right, I don't even know what to do because Taka. What am I going to do even? I don't even know what to do. All right, we'll have to start. No, mamish. Yeah. No, I'm saying we didn't even start watches yet. All right. All right. Look, Maisa, let's at least start. No, this is terrible. You guys, it's your fault, right? Because I could have done this very fast and you started asking questions, right? Now you see what happens, right? Okay. And also, you must start learning muksa today because you guys, you have to know muksa. That's it. So you start muksa today and you'll be ahead of me. That's how it's supposed to be anyways. But tomorrow, I guess the first few minutes, we're going to talk about muksa. We're going to talk about watches. But now let's start. Let's start watches. Also, there's all types of watches today. There's all these automatic matzavim. There's this solar-powered watches. There's all different things. Okay, so it's like this. And we have to talk about these wind-up swing toys. And also, it's come back in style. I remember when we had my first child, many years in Siddiq, and then it became fancy to have these electric swings, because it's much easier than to have to, that was also right when it was coming in that he stopped having the windshield, not the windshield, the windows, and now you just press a button and it goes up, it goes down, that's like, right? But now it's coming back in style to have the ones that you wind up. Why? Because for Shabbos. So you have to see if it's like, it says on it like a Shabbos swing. You have to write on it, Mechal Shabbos swing. You have to see, is it a problem? And then they have all these these wind-up toys. I'm talking about the wind-up toys, the cars that go back and whatever. The dreidels, right? Some of you guys are trying to be shiny. You probably, it came with toys and things and whatever. So, what about the wind-up toys and all these things? And they have this game. I remember this game from the Heim. I don't know if they have it anymore. There's a game called Perfection. Does it still exist, or I'm like really old? Did I get the name right even? Perfection is a game that what I remember is used to put that, no, you're from Toronto, it's not Orion. It's like a few years behind. Right? No, so they had it's just got it now. So they have these pieces that you put on. You have to make like a shape or whatever, a whole different stuff, whatever. And then you turn the dial over there. And and it's like, you just turn around, and then it goes slowly, and you hear tick, 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 like that, right? It's very, very stressful, it's very stressful. It's not called perfection. I said it wrong. Well, it's a timer, and it's a tick, 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 and he puts on the piece, right? And if he's matzliach, so then he got all the pieces in before it popped, right? And the fight always was that last piece, and that's how it goes, right? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Rabbi Mel, where are you from? It's also just to go out of town. It's also not such a guy. Is that anybody from Flatbush? You know what I'm talking about. What? CK. Okay, CK got it? They got it. Okay, what? Brooklyn has it. No, I know Brooklyn has it. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm saying, but they still have it. So are you allowed to play Perfection on Shabbos? It was such a geschmacka game to play on Shabbos. No? It's a geschmacka game, right? You're allowed to play Perfection on Shabbos. And you should know, these things will all come back in style. So even if you say, they don't play this today, they play like fancy games and whatever, but they come back in style. So halacha l'maisa, this is a big shaila. So where do we have to start with? We have to start with watches. Winding a watch on Shabbos. Now, Rabbi said, to talk about, today, to talk about winding a watch on Shabbos. So you're going to say to me, no, why are you even going to talk about a watch on Shabbos? It's a big shaila if you're allowed to wind the watch on Shabbos. We paskin no beyond the shadow of a doubt. Mamish, death, murder, blood. Don't you dare wind the watch on Shabbos. The biggest of errors since Chetayim. Panamiris. Where is it? Panamiris. Panamiris is Beis Kuf Chav Gimel. He says, what's wrong with winding a watch? What's wrong with winding a watch? You can wind the watch on Shabbos. Why not? Why not? And the Shelas Yavitz, Yaakov Emdim in Beis Samach Gimel, he says, okay, like b'makom mitzvah. You got to wake up for Shacharis or something. You can wind the watch. You go to sleep at night. So at 12:30 at night, you look at your watch. Stop. So the Panamiris will say, no, it's for sure mutter. Yavitz will say, no, it's a tzarich of the mitzvah. So but the Mishnah Berurah, Sogar Aleinu Es Haderech. And Simon, you all saw it already. He says, ooh, when it comes to watches, it's at least the Darabbana and it's Daraisa also. Many places say Daraisa brings Chayodam and Simon Memdal, if you test Daraisa. So that's it. It's like, why would I even talk about this? There's no point to talk about it. And the Ksav Sofer says, why are you even going to talk about it? Because even if you believe in the Panamiris, but you still can't do it today. Ksav Sofer, Rav in Preshborg, he said this over 140 years ago. He said, no matter what, you can't do it today. You know why? Because today it's Devarim Shenahagu by Isser. You're not allowed to be makel, like the Gemara says. It's things that people, anyways, they take on as Aser. To wind the watch, everyone takes on as Aser. So besides, it's not negaya to discuss, the winding watches, because even if you're going to tell me it's mutter, it's Aser, because it's a minig, and minig is chamer ba'ayid, and therefore you can't wind the watch. Okay, but you got to know the svaras, because kafi the svaras might be the tremendous nafkamina in things like these wind-up toys, perhaps, right? And it could be other nafkaminas. So it's very important. We have to know all the different svaras. We've got to know all the different svaras. And just more so, to be moisif, the Tiferes Yisrael has a sefer called the Kallus Shabbos, such a wonderful sefer. If the Kallus Shabbos in the front of the Mishnayos, you can read that, you can have all of Hilchos Shabbos. All of Hilchos Shabbos. And over there, he brings down, in the 38th Siman over there, he brings down that winding the watch. Listen, they say it's usher, so I'm not going to start. But he says, but to a watch which is already halfway wound, and you're just keeping it going, he says, no, that's already no. That's like, like your svara from before with Yana tights, right? Or the svara with you have a house that's fine, everything's fine, and you want to put up things to make it that it doesn't fall. He says, no, you're not allowed to fix a house on Shabbos, but you can make it not fall. So he says, no. So right now the watch works and it says the right time, but you know that if you don't wind it, then by the morning it's not going to be good. So he says, no. So all you're doing is you're making it that she shouldn't die. So he wants to say it's mutter. Mishnah Berurah says, no. Even that, no. He brings down the, okay. But what's in the okay? We don't do that either because Mishnah Berurah said that's the Rabbanan, so you don't do that. Mishnah Berurah says, are you there, guy? B'makim chayli, can be mekel. The Pri Megadim in Siman Shin Ches, that's Hilchos Muksa. So if anybody asked, did we start Muksa? We started Muksa. The Pri Megadim in Shin Ches, not only that, we got all the way to the Pri Megadim in Shin Ches, Sifkat and Ayin Gimel. Pri Megadim over there says, no, b'makim chayli, maybe it could be mekel to do it yourself. That's Hashem. That's one thing at a time. But we have to figure out b'chlal what the yisur is of winding a watch. What's the yisur b'chlal? Now, let's start. What's the yisur to wind a watch? What do you mean? What's the yisur to wind a watch? It's like the worst affair in the world. No, you have a watch that doesn't work. You're making it work. No, it's like a terrible affair. No. So if I say you take a table on Shabbos, it's folded up. You take the table, you unfold her, you take down the legs, you take down those legs. Then you put in that little metal piece over there, the metal piece over there, and then you bring the table. Till now, were you able? Now you put things on it. You put on it herring, and you put on it plates and forks and all these napkins that you made, right? And the vase with all the flowers that you made out of napkins and everything. And it's a minute ago, were you able to do that? A joke. A galech, it was all folded up on the corner there. You can put anything on, you can put it, but it won't be high up in the air like this. So you made a table on Shabbos. So you're over on Boine, Maket Patish, Basam Chalov. What's it? It's a shayches. It's already shaygemacht, right? All I'm doing is unfolding it. That's the usage of the table. It's not called I made the table. Everything was in place. And that's what you do. The table's called broken? No, that's what you do. You store the table for convenience in such a fashion. That's not called you made the table. That's what you're using the table. Like I said, what's the difference between that and a watch? What's up, in a watch? A watch right now has a system where, you wind the system and then it goes into place, and it stops. Then you wind it again. What happens when you wind it again? So then it starts over again, and that's how you use the watch. Maybe it's a usage. What's the difference between a watch and a folding table? What happened? What's the difference between a watch and a folding table? Once you know the answer to that, because we know a watch is also, and you know what? The Panami Iris, he says, what are you talking about to say that a watch is makabeh patish? In order for you to say a watch is makabeh patish, you have to say that a watch is broken and I'm fixing it. I'm saying, because you're certainly not, adding a final touch to it. You didn't add any final touch to it, right? So what do you want to say? That a watch, when it stopped, is broken. And now when you wind her, so what are you doing? You're fixing it. It says broken? Why is it broken? Why is it broken? It has a system, and this is how the system works, and that's what you do. So why is that called that it's broken? So Panamir says, das ist mutter. Kum segei d'chai yodam in mem daled yotes. And he says, what are you talking about? It's Mefresh Gemara in Erevin, it's Aser deraisa, it's checkmate. What's the Gemara Mefresh in Erevin? Gemara says over there was a violin, or a cello or something, right? And it snapped one of the ropes, one of the strings over there, snaps off. And now it says over there, the way Rashi learns the Gemara in Erevin, at the end of Erevin over there. Rashi says, so you start winding it down so that you pull out the string so that it can have more room. And Rashi says, well, when you're unwinding, right, or winding, the string to fix the rope, to fix the snapped string, so then you're over on makeh, bepatish. So Chayyim says, that's the exact same thing that you're doing over here. You're winding it over here. And when you wind up this watch, you're making it go from a broken watch to a fixed watch. Okay? Does anybody understand what I just said? What's the shaykhs? What's the shaykhs? A violin that breaks? breaks. It's not meant to happen. The rope snaps, you're fixing it now. Right? So now you wind it in a way where it pulls down the string and then you fix it. But the watch, that's how it's supposed to be. You go to the watchmaker, the Zegermacher, you tell him, Kanif, Roshot, Yoini, I bought this watch from you and it doesn't work. Sabit nicht. Takes the watch. Takes the watch. He starts broken. You maniac. You get there looking at the watch. What are you talking about? All you have to do is wind it. It's not broken. You take back the violin to Yana Violin Macher, and this is a very serious thing. You have to do it. It's broken. You have to fix it. So then I'd say, how could you compare it to a watch? That's what's pshat in Chai Adam. It's meant to happen. It could say to happen. In fact, the Chazaynish in Simin Nun, in Sivkat and Tes, how could the Chai Adam say that it's broken, the Zeger? What? A table that's folded up in a way where it doesn't, let's say this table would be on the floor right now. So I come into the Kallus, I put the computer over there, right? Table. How am I supposed to use this table? So that's it. Unfold it. Just unfold it. Be normal, right? So the watch also. The watch doesn't work. Why do you have to be so aggressive? Why do you have to be so aggressive? The watch works. Why do you have to be so aggressive? You bring it to the watchmakers and say, what do you have to screaming at me for? The watch works. You're not normal. The watch works. Right? They're going to tell the person, look at this table. It doesn't work. Unfold her. This is the grace of Shai. So if you know the answer to this question, you know everything. All right, we didn't do anything today. Shai, Kitter, by tomorrow you guys have to have learned all of Hilchos Muktzah. All of Hilchos Muktzah. And that way, you'll be a little bit ahead of me. And tomorrow, that's it. There's no games. The first, how many minutes, Nasi? No, because I also have to talk about the automatic watches. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, please. Yeah, 10 minutes. Whoever doesn't have a chavrusa must come to me. I want to deal with it today. Whoever doesn't have a chavrusa must come to me. And again, with the Shulchan Aruch, like I said, anybody who wants to buy one, I might have, because I think some guys left behind, so they come to me about that. Let me say these guys.